Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lily. This is Lily's Shelf, and today we are back talking about Love Island USA Season 7, Episode 2. So, we immediately pick up right where we left off, and the question is posed if anyone wants to get to know the bombshell. And so Ace, Taylor, Nick, Austin, and Yulissa raised their hands. Then Shelly says she pleads the fifth when Ariana, after Ariana has left, and like they're kind of going around talking about like who got up to kiss somebody else. Jeremiah asks if Huda got up. Huda says no, I did not get up, but she does not elaborate on the fact that she was kissed, because remember back in episode 1, Ace did kiss her, okay? Then the bombshells text who they want to get to know. Nick gets a text and Shelly gets a text to go to the hideaway. So they go, everybody else is like, aw, snap. Nick is in his confessional cheesing. He is gagged. He is gagged. When he sees Sierra, he's like, oh my God. While Shelly and Nick are getting to know the bombshells, everybody else has been split off. And so they're kind of talking about who kissed who. The guys are kind of speculating who kissed who, while the girls, they don't really speculate. Olandra is like, I kissed Ace. I kissed Ace, but it wasn't even all that. And then Huda admits that she was kissed. She thinks that it's Ace. It was. And then Ace talks about his kisses, but like he doesn't give the boys too much. He's like, process of elimination. Okay, by process of elimination, this is who it could be. And so the other guys are like, okay, well, if it's not her and it's not her, then it's got to be her, or her. And Ace is just like, yeah, I guess it could be, please. And I'm like, Ace might be, well, not might, Ace is definitely going to be a problem. Like, he does not seem like the type to close any doors. He's just going to continue to explore and see, who closes the door on him. So apparently they'll sleep in the highway. Again, this is my first season of watching Love Island, period. Not just Love Island USA, but like any of the Love Islands. So I did not realize that Nick and Shelly will be sleeping with the bombshells in the hideaway. So Nick says it's easy to talk to Sierra, and that when they open the so they're in the hideaway, right? They're exploring, looking around, everything. They open up the closet, baby, it's given 50 Shades of Grey. I said, oh, Woody Hibbits. Taylor and Olandra talk. She does admit that she did kiss Ace, and I like that. I like that. While I'm not feeling like super overt romantic chemistry between Olandra and Taylor, I do think that they are going like at a slow and steady pace. I do like that they can be open and honest with their communication. And Taylor says that too, that he appreciates that she was honest about it, and that she does admit that she did get up and kiss Ace. Because like when you're sitting next to somebody, I'm sure they could hear like the little chair squeak or something when their person got up. So why lie? Because Olandra says that she did want to explore that, but like I don't think it went anywhere, because after that we never see Olandra try to pull Ace for a chat. We never see Ace try to pull Olandra for a chat. But she does reassure Taylor that he is still her strongest connection. And like I said, I do, even though it's a slow burn for sure, I am kind of sort of seeing it for Taylor and Olandra if they continue on this path. I feel like every day they get a little closer, so we'll see. We go back to the bombshells. Nick is clearly feeling Sierra. Nick is clearly feeling that girl, okay? I don't know if Shelly is feeling Charlie as much, but I also feel like Sierra is putting in more work, and Charlie is just kind of resting on the fact that he's British. I don't know, like he's not giving effort to me. Austin and Bella talk about the kissing game, and how neither of them really got up, and hopefully the partners won't go too crazy in the hideaway. Well, Charlie and Shelly are finally talking. Now I will keep it a buck, even though Charlie wasn't giving me as much as I feel like Sierra was giving me in terms of like working to build a connection with the person that they chose. I do still feel like Charlie and Shelly have more of a connection than Austin and Shelly, but that's also because from what we know about Austin, from the real world, he's not giving. But even in the villa, even if I didn't know that, he's not giving. It's awkward. Something about it is just off. Again, Nick and Sierra, like, the banter is flowing, and like, I don't know, Nick is just seeming more open with Sierra than he did with Bella. And maybe that's because Sierra out the gate gave him like a very steamy kiss, and so like he can feel some physical attraction there. I don't know. But Jeremiah is pressed. Why is he pressed? Because of all this supposed attention that's on Huda. Because I think in this episode, Ace is talking about how, like, or some of the guys are talking about how Jeremiah and Huda say they're not closed off, but they act closed off. So like, it's kind of hard for any of the girls to approach Jeremiah or any of the guys to approach Huda. But Jeremiah is also still a little salty about the fact that somebody else kissed Huda. And so Bella jokes about being single now because Nick is in the hideaway. And then Jeremiah once again goes back to asking if Huda really stayed in her chair during this kissing game. He needs to know, okay? Okay, he needs to know if he needs to start moving on to somebody else, because that's what it's giving. It sounds like if Huda says, yes, I got up out of my chair and kissed somebody else, he's going to be like, all right, I'm out. Shelly, what is it giving? Between me and you, what is it giving? Then we find out Yulissa has left the villa, and we only find out because Ian, the little voiceover guy, he gives like a 2-second spiel on the fact that Yulissa got booted up out of there. And then we do not hear about this girl ever again. And honestly, I love that. I love that, because everything we know about Yulissa in the real world, terrible. Terrible. And the energy that she was giving in the villa, I wasn't feeling it. Maybe I was biased because I already knew what was going on in the real world, but like, I wasn't, from the moment she was introduced, I wasn't feeling it. Huda finally admits that it was Ace who kissed her, and Jeremiah's like, I mean, it's cool that he came to kiss you, but if you had gotten up to kiss somebody else, I would have thrown myself off of the balcony. And I said, whoa. Whoa. It's giving dramatic. Jeremiah, it's giving dramatic. And Jeremiah and Huda's connection is not even strong enough to be doing all this. It's not even strong enough to be doing all this, because if we are keeping it a buck, while Jeremiah and Huda have good chemistry together, it's giving high school crush. Like, meet me in front of my locker and walk me to class. It's not giving all this, okay? Huda, unlike me, thinks that Jeremiah is doing just enough. Not too much, just enough, because she clearly likes her men obsessed with her. And I feel like maybe Jeremiah is picking up on that, because every time he does a little too much, you can tell that Huda likes that. And so Jeremiah continues to do and say a little too much, I feel like, to keep her on the hook. But we'll see. Austin is pressed. Austin is pressed because not only was Shelly the only one to kiss him when they did their first coupling back in episode 1, but now he is out here by his lonesome while Shelly is having the time of her little life in the hideaway, and he does not like that at all. He does talk to Taylor. Taylor gives him good advice, but I can't remember what Taylor said. I just remember that it was good advice. But why is Austin still here? Why is Austin still here? You got Yulissa out of there, get Austin out of here too. Bella and Huda talk. Bella low-key was crashing out in lowercase, but she plans to let Nick, like, once Nick and Shelly finally get out of the hideaway, Bella plans to let Nick pull her 4 chops and, you know, talk about what went on so that she can see if he will be honest and open with her. But Bella does say that she has her eye on the new bombshell, whoever he is, because I don't think they've seen them yet. So the couples finally come out of the hideaway, guys. Finally, they come out of the hideaway. Everyone is gagged by how Sierra and Charlie look. The boys and the girls, they split off to chat, and Sierra jokes about kissing the girls to make it fair. I already am kind of feeling Sierra's personality. Like, she's given that she's gonna be a good time. So hopefully she's here for a while. Sierra says it was a lot of fun and it was romantic with the way that they set the hideaway up. And Shelly talks about what they found in the closet, like the handcuffs and all that other stuff. The girls are like, oh my gosh. How wild did y'all get up in there? But we swiftly move on from that because we go now to the boys. Charlie says that the kiss with Shelly was the best, which took me by surprise because, like I said in episode 1, I thought he had better kiss chemistry with like Olandria, but maybe not. Then he talks about Shelly very respectfully, which I like. I appreciate that. Both of them agree that the conversation was good. Bella takes a temperature check with Sierra, just kind of asking, like, you know, what all did her and Nick get into? And Sierra talks about Nick in a very respectful way, but you can tell that she is feeling that man. And Bella can tell that too. And so, like, she's getting a bad taste in her mouth. But that's why I always say, don't ask questions you don't really want the answer to. Because Bella, I feel like when she asked that question, she was hoping that Sierra would be like, oh, it was cool, but like, Nick's not my type, so that she could continue to comfortably explore her connection with Nick. But Sierra's talking this man up, so now she's like, Lord have mercy. Nick is telling the guys about the blindfold kiss because back at the end of episode 1, when the bombshells first come out, everybody still had their blindfold on. So the girl, you know, so Charlie kisses everybody one by one. Well, Charlie kisses the girls one by one, and then Sierra kisses the guys one by one. And so in the hideaway, Nick was saying that their blindfold kiss was like super steamy, very much so he enjoyed that. And so they end up recreating that in the hideaway. Like, she brought her own blindfold, or she found it in the closet. I can't remember which one. But either way, the details don't matter because Nick puts the blindfold back on and they make out again. They make out again for longer and they are having a good time. So Nick is telling the boys this and the boys are floored. Their flabber was gasted. They said, whoa, okay, Nick. Okay, Nick. But Nick also says that the conversation flowed better with Sierra. It's implied as opposed to Bella. Yikes. And honestly, Nick is giving, from like his body language and the fact that like he and Sierra kind of already got physical as opposed to like only being able to kiss Bella on the cheek. I feel like Nick is the type of guy who likes that instant physical like connection to see if they'll work or not. And since he's got that with Sierra and not with Bella, it looks like he is leaning more towards Sierra. But we'll see. Okay, it's only episode 2, so we'll see. So then Austin and Shelly talk. He's trying to see where her head is at. Shelly is like, you know, her and Charlie had a great conversation, but they didn't cuddle. And she's still very open. But you noticed how Olandria said that Taylor was still her strongest connection, even though she did give that kiss to Ace. Shelly never said that Austin was her strongest connection. I picked up on that. I'm sure Shelly picked up on that, but I don't think that Austin picked up on that because Austin was so cheesing like he had a chance. Baby, you have no chance. It's giving Old Faithful like. So then Sierra and Ace go for a chat. They talk about a book called The Alchemist. Ace is like, look, I'm single because again, Ulysses gone. So technically Ace is not paired up with anybody right now. So he's just exploring. Whoever wants to pull him for a chat, he's game. Bella and Charlie go for a chat while Nick is making a grilled cheese. And like Nick is like, sir, please, you were all up in Sierra's face and now you want to feel a way that Bella is talking to Charlie? All right. Nick says that he's still into Bella and he just wants to see where she's at. But Charlie and Bella both bond over having family shops. And then I skipped some of the other conversations because they weren't really talking about anything. And then Sierra and Taylor, they talk about fashion. Apparently, Taylor does have Sierra on his radar. That surprised me. I said, oh, okay. He likes how he looks, and then he likes that they both have teeth gems. And then, meanwhile, Olandria's in the background, a little annoyed about how long Taylor and Sierra were chatting. Girl, I feel you. Nick is clearly not used to juggling more than one woman at once. But he does feel like Sierra is more into him than Bella. And so while he does like that, because Bella is not as interested in him, he kind of likes that chase. And I'm like, okay. Toxic Nick is coming out to play a little bit because why? If that's how you feel, why are you continuing to pursue somebody who you feel like is not that into you? That's a little toxic. Ace pulls Shelly for a chat and he jokes about Shelly being taken away from him when she was called into the hideaway. And like, again, their banter and their chemistry is just, And like he's just being very intentional about making it clear that he is pursuing her. I like that. And Shelly does too. So it's another night of hangouts and chats, because that was during the morning, now we at nighttime. Bella and Nick talk first. Nick talks about the kiss, and like he does own up to the fact that he did kiss Sierra in the hideaway and that it was good, but Bella is his physical type, so he's still very much interested in her. Bella asks where he stands, and that's when he said, you know, I'm still interested in you even though I am currently pursuing a connection with Sierra. Bella keeps asking questions that leave her disappointed, because Nick is giving flip-flopper. He likes shiny new toys, and right now Sierra is the shiny new toy. I feel like he knows that Bella will be, especially seeing how annoyed that she is every time he pulls Sierra for a chat. I feel like he's realizing that Bella will be around so he can pursue things with Sierra, and if it doesn't work out, he can always go back to Bella. Shelly is pulled away again by Charlie. He says he missed their chats and that he'd love to get to the point where he could get a kiss without the blindfold. Okay, Charlie, I see you. And Shelly's like, well, we could do it right now. I know that's right. I know that's right. And Charlie's like, yeah, tonight. And Shelly's like, I don't see why not. I don't see why not. I'm not gonna lie. Him joking about being able to read the stars and then leaning in for that kiss with Shelly, that was smooth. That was smooth. I said, okay, Charlie. Sierra pulls Jeremiah for a chat. And it's so funny to me because as they're talking, this is Huda, okay? This is Jeremiah and Sierra. So they're walking and Huda passes them as they chat. So literally, y'all, Sierra is able to talk to Jeremiah for barely 2 minutes. And I rewind the episode to confirm, because I said, no way. No way. Yes way. Yes way. According to the edits, okay? Sierra was talking to this man for 2 minutes before Huda walks up and she's like, babe, can I pull you for a chat right quick? And Jeremiah's like, well, it was good to see you. Nice. Well, it was good meeting you. Bye now. Like, Jeremiah got up too quick. He got up too quick. Mind you, Huda's always saying, oh, I don't mind if somebody pulls him for a chat. That doesn't bother me. Clearly it does, because this man can't even go 2 minutes without you popping up. Like, hey, come on now. Then we find out that Taylor apparently was interested in Huda. But I think he's talking to Ace when he says this, but he says there's no point in trying to pursue her because she gives so clearly closed off with Jeremiah, and I agree. Like, Jeremiah is not letting Huda explore anything. Huda is not letting Jeremiah explore anything. And I feel like if this is how it's going to be, because this is Love Island, okay? Like, everybody is already talking to everybody else, and you can see who has like stronger connections, but nobody but them is closed off. So I feel like if this is how they want it to be, they should have been on like Love is Blind or something. Married at First Sight. Something not this. Keep in mind, they're doing all this. Jeremiah still does not know that Huda is a mother. So I'll be very interested to see if he switches up once he learns this. So Taylor gets a text for everybody to meet up at the fire pit, and Sierra and Charlie finally get to couple up. So everybody was in the original couples, but since Charlie and Sierra are the bombshells, it's time for them to be paired up with somebody else. So the Islanders get to decide if they want to stay in their current couples or choose one of the bombshells. Nick and Bella go first. And this is how I knew Love Island was going to be messy. Because Bella is thinking that she's good, because keep in mind that the text didn't say, whichever bombshell isn't chosen goes home. None of that. Just that they'll be doing a recoupling to see if anybody wants to be in a couple with the bombshells. So even if nobody chooses the bombshells, they will still be there in the villa, okay? So Nick and Bella go first on whether they want to recouple with the bombshells. Nick stands up. And Bella's face, she was so thrown. Her flapper was gasted. She said, I cannot believe this. You put a trust in a man and look what he does. Because keep in mind, after Nick had returned from the hideaway, he was talking to Bella as if like what they had going on was still very much a factor. Shelly and Austin go next, and Austin stands up. After all that smiling and talking and checking in with Shelly and everything else. Oh, well. But Shelly stays seated. Now this surprised me because I thought she was going to try and get to know Charlie a little bit more because I feel like their connection was a little stronger, but okay. But then Shelly does say she didn't want to seem like she was like connection hopping. So Huda and Jeremiah go next to the surprise of no one. They both remain seated. I'm going to just skip right past them because, again, they might as well stop lying to us and say that they're closed off because they clearly are. Ace goes next. He has to stand up because he's officially single. Olandria and Taylor go next. Guys, Taylor stands up. I said, oh. Baby, Olandria's flapper was gassed. She said, oh. But then Huda starts being low-key shady. So at this point, like, all these guys except for Jeremiah have stood up. And like, we're not counting Ace because he's officially single. Like, he had to stand up. But like, Huda is saying how like all the girls need real men and all this other shady stuff. And Olandria is like, girl, like, chill. Like, we'll discuss, you know, later. And I was with Olandria. Shut up. Like, I don't know what Huda was trying to do in this moment. I'm sure she was trying to throw shade at the guys, but it was low. Like, the way that she said it, it was throwing shade at the girls. And so I was with Olandria when she was trying to tell her, like, pipe down a little bit. You're doing too much. Because Huda, once again, was doing too much. Since none of the girls chose Charlie, he goes to sit down. You can tell he's a little hurt. He's in his feelings a little bit. Sierra chooses Nick to the surprise of no one. I don't know why the other guy stood up when Sierra has clearly shown the most interest in Nick, because throughout the whole day she's talked to all the guys, but she's mainly talked to Nick. So like, y'all messing with your connections for what? So then they get another text that of course, you know, the remaining boys can sit down that weren't chosen. And so Landry like scoots over a little bit from Taylor, and Taylor feels away, but like, what did he expect? Bella, Ace, and Charlie are single and vulnerable. Huda's like, babe, I got your back. What? Huda just be talking. And she's starting to get on my nerves. But that is where the episode ends. And y'all, let me know, how are we feeling? How are we feeling? I feel like this is about to be a really good season. The cast is already doing the thing. But please no spoilers. Okay, this will be episodic review. So we will go episode by episode. I know that these are going to be coming up late, but please. And a new episode dropping every day. Madness. But that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye guys.